What's going on, everybody? It's Barmine from Barmine Tech, and today we're going to be talking about the Proxmox pve-scripts local install manager again. I know we just talked about it maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, but they did a pretty significant update to it. It did cover some of the stuff that I mentioned in my last video, as well as I was able to gather some more information to share that follows up from my last video. So I want to talk about that today and go over some of the new features. I'm not going to really cover the install since it's still pretty similar to how the original script worked. So if you are interested in setting this up, I'll link the video down below and hopefully put a card up if I remember to the first video so you could set it up. If you do already have it set up, you can just use the update command. This is an updatable container and you could just update to the latest version. Or if you just want to wipe it out and start over, we could do that as well. It's like I said, it's a very simple setup. You just need to run the script and enter in your server IP and the login info and you're all set. But that's enough of that. Let's go into actually talking about the local script manager. So over here is the GitHub page for the local script manager. And you can see over here, they released a version 2 weeks ago. And if I come over here and look and I click on the other changes, we can come over here and we can read through everything. This page is going to list all the changes that were made and you can see the source code and everything like that. So they did make a significant change. You can see over here, it looks like they resolved some sort of database issue. I mean, we can read through here and really see what's going on. I do have 2 instances going currently. I have my old instance. As you can see, it's out of date. And then over here is the new instance, which as you can see requires authentication. There's no authentication on this page. So they did make it that you would need to log in to actually access it. You can turn it off if you want. So if I do log in, it's going to hit me with the release notes. So you can read through. Again, similar to what the GitHub is going to show. And if I come to settings, there's authentication. And you can turn authentication on and off if you want. But it doesn't hurt to have it on, being that this does have install access and SSH access over to your server. Appearance-wise, this is the older version of the pve-scripts management. You can see it's kind of a little bit smaller and more wide open, whereas the new one is a little bit larger. Minor changes, it's just appearance-wise, but other than that, everything else is going to be pretty much the same. We have the same taskbar up here. It matches up. We just have a couple more options, like now we have a help button. Previously, we didn't have a help button. It's minor things that were changed, but it's quality of life things that make this a little bit better. Of course, the scripts are all the same. It's still pulling from the same repository, so it's not like there's anything too crazy. It does operate in the same way where we can come over here and we can grab a script. We can load it. It comes over here to our downloaded scripts. I can push it to install and go from here. It does work the same way. However, again, when I was doing some testing, I was finding some issues with pushing out some of these operating systems. So like I was messing with Debian 12. I was doing Debian 13, sorry. So if we do Debian 12, you can see it's trying to load. So it is downloading. It takes a couple seconds, which is fine. So it does make it so it's downloaded. And you can see like I was messing with AdGuard Home. I loaded it and now it gives me the option to install it. If I come over to one of these operating systems, it just continues to load. And unfortunately, we can't have an option to install it. So I usually gives you an option up here at the top, but it doesn't seem to be anything. I don't know if it's just a slight bug currently going on, or if it's a misconfiguration with my system. But being that other containers are installing, it makes me believe that there might be still some sort of hiccup going on with these. I imagine that installing virtual machines is going to be significantly different than how the LXCs install, but I don't know. Still seems to be some sort of bug with installing operating system. As you can see, I was doing some testing. I was able to install AdGuard and Archive Box, and you can see if I come over here, we can just grab another one. So I'll just come over to Available Scripts. We'll go to Documents and Notes. And I'm going to grab Trillium because it's actually a tool I've been using to study for my CCNP and take notes. I have to say I really like Trillium. I needed something that's going to work cross-platform so I could hop from computer to computer without having to save locally like I do with OneNote. And Trillium's really been a winner so far. Side blurb just about Trillium, I do like this container a lot. You can see now it's all ready though to install, so I can click install and push it to Barmine Tech. And I'm just going to do the default install, and again this will be done pretty quickly. So once this is, we'll come back and we just take a look. And you can see that the container's all built out. If I close this out and then come back over to Proxmox, you can see here's Trillium, and if I open up the console, I can go over to access it right there. So Trillium would be working. I don't remember what port it runs off of, so I'll just come over here really quick. 8080. And actually over here it's even nicer. It gives you a link to just open it up right here. I don't think this was the case on the old one. Yeah, so you can see here's another update that they made. So over here on the old helper scripts, like the local manager, we have a big change right here is that they link the web UI right to the page, and you can actually open it directly from here. So that's pretty cool. And we do have some actions. So over here you can see we can update and we can do some work to it right from there. But here you can see Trillium is all set up and working. This is a major update right here actually, so you can really do some work through here. It looks like we had the edit and delete stuff previously, but now we have some more capabilities through here. Again, this is just an SSH connection over, so you do really have a lot of reach for what you can do with this tool. But this is just some of the updates that were done to this, and it looks like they are really getting it to a more workable point. There of course still is some bugs, but I imagine they're going to work this out better. This is a much better instance than, of course, the earlier version. It makes sense. It's an earlier version, so it's going to have its issues. But this is much better function, and I think long-term, after some more development, can be very useful. Now, a big thing I mentioned previously in my video was the security concern of what this might actually be doing while it works, where it might reach out to, and again, it has an SSH connection directly to your server. Now, I didn't do it from the start, but I did do a Wireshark capture while I already had this container installed and working with it. So I did miss like the initial when it's reaching out to GitHub and stuff like that, but I was able to monitor it through the process of deploying containers and afterwards to see what it does while it just sits in idle. And we can look at the PCAP that I have really quickly, and I'll just kind of break down some of the network traffic of what this container was doing. So this was the Wireshark capture that I got, and if you're not familiar with Wireshark or how this works, that's fine. Really all you need to know is this is monitoring all traffic across my entire network, and I'm just filtering it to break down to see what a specific host is doing. In particular, it's .157. Which is the scripts management. .69 is my workstation, so we can see I'm reaching over to it over port 3000. It comes back, we go back and forth. But if I start looking through these scripts more and more, that's all I really see. I just see me communicating back and forth. I don't see any traffic actually leaving and going outside. I can scroll through for quite some time. There really isn't much else going on. And now if I filter it a little bit further and I filter out my workstation and the server, there's no additional logs. So there's no other traffic that appears to be going on in idle. Of course, this was a period of time. I don't have a long-term capture, but it doesn't currently appear that this container is actively reaching out to the internet or doing anything else. I don't even really see it going out over SSH. I don't see any traffic from the container going out over port 22. I don't know if this is just because there was no syncing during the process. I'm not really sure why. I'm gonna say there probably should be. I might just be missing something. But like I said, I don't really see any peculiar traffic going out from this host during this time while I monitored all of its network traffic. So it does make me feel a little bit better about the security aspect of the network side of this container and what it's doing. So that's the new update of the Proxmox helper scripts local management script. I just wanted to make this follow-up video because there was a pretty substantial update, so I did want to cover some of the topics and follow up from some of my concerns from the last video. Like I said, the security and what else this container was doing in the background was really something that made me wonder, and I was able to clear up some of those concerns and show you guys exactly what's going on as well. I want to thank you all for watching. As always, I'll have links to all the gear in my Homelab down below. I'll have links to the Proxmox helper script site and this script that we worked with today. I'll have a link to the Discord server if you want to join up and chat in there. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and as my buddy Don would say, hack till it hurts.